Thomas Kraut had always been an active man. At 59, he lived a modest but fulfilling life in Norway after moving from Germany decades earlier. He worked as an optician, a job that gave him satisfaction through the quiet art of helping people see the world clearly. His days were routine but peaceful, filled with long walks through town, time spent with friends and family, and quiet evenings with books or music. But over the years, something began to change. It started slowly, almost unnoticeably. A slight discomfort in his lower abdomen, a little tightness around his waistband. Nothing urgent, nothing worth losing sleep over. At first, Thomas did what most people would do. He assumed he was just gaining weight. After all, who didn't put on a few extra pounds as they aged? He chalked it up to slowing metabolism and the onset of middle age. He tried to address it with small changes, cut back on sugar, took longer walks, even joined a local fitness group to stay motivated. But the odd thing was, his body wasn't responding the way it used to. While the rest of him stayed the same, his belly just kept growing. Doctors initially gave him the same answers he told himself. It's probably fat. Visceral fat. Could be linked to type 2 diabetes, which he had been diagnosed with a few years earlier. He was prescribed medications, including the increasingly popular weight loss injection Ozempic. But nothing changed. His belly kept expanding, slowly but steadily, over a span of not months, but years. By year 5, it had grown so large and so heavy that it began to interfere with his everyday life. He couldn't bend over the same way, couldn't tie his shoes without discomfort, couldn't sleep comfortably. The weight of it pressed on his spine, causing back pain that radiated down his legs. People stared at him differently. Friends made innocent but painful remarks, asking if he'd been eating too well or if he was doing anything about the belly. Thomas, always a gentle soul, just smiled and nodded. But inside, he knew something didn't feel right. He could feel a pressure in his abdomen that wasn't like fat. It was hard, unnaturally hard. Not soft and pliable like the rest of his body. He brought it up with his doctors multiple times, but each time the diagnosis was the same: weight gain. Advised to stick with his medication and keep working on lifestyle changes. By year 10, Thomas had had enough. His belly had now taken on the look of someone in the final months of pregnancy, only larger. He was exhausted, not only physically, but emotionally too. The effort to walk even a few blocks left him winded. His clothes didn't fit, his balance was off, and worst of all, he began to feel isolated, alone inside a body that was slowly becoming unrecognizable. It wasn't until 2019, nearly 12 years after the first signs appeared, that a physician, one who had never treated Thomas before, noticed something no one else had. During a routine checkup ahead of a gastric sleeve operation, this new doctor pressed a hand against Thomas's abdomen and paused. It didn't feel right. The belly wasn't squishy or soft. It was firm, like a stone. The doctor furrowed his brow and immediately ordered imaging scans, CT and MRI. When the results came back, the room went silent. Thomas wasn't carrying fat. He was carrying a massive tumor. A 60-pound malignant growth, almost the size of a full-grown child, had been growing inch by inch, year after year, inside his abdomen. The scans revealed it pressing against his organs, displacing them, altering their shape and function. One kidney was partially crushed. His small intestine was tangled around it. The reason he couldn't lose the weight? It wasn't weight, it was cancer. Thomas sat in stunned silence as the doctor explained everything. They didn't yet know if it had spread, didn't know what kind of tumor it was, only that it was malignant. But what they did know was that it had to come out immediately. What followed was a grueling 10-hour surgery, during which the tumor was painstakingly removed, piece by piece. Surgeons had to remove a portion of Thomas's small intestine and his entire right kidney to free the mass. The size and location of the tumor made it one of the most complex procedures the hospital had ever attempted. When Thomas awoke after surgery, the first thing he felt was lighter, not just physically, but emotionally, like he had been carrying not just a tumor, but years of fear, confusion, and neglect. He was alive. He had made it through, but the road ahead would be difficult. Pathology confirmed the tumor was indeed malignant, and though they had removed the majority of it, a small portion remained embedded in a place too risky to operate. He would require long-term treatment, ongoing therapy, and regular scans to monitor for regrowth. Today, Thomas continues that journey. His belly has returned to a normal size. The back pain has eased. He walks with a little more spring in his step, even as the scars remind him of everything he went through. His story isn't just about a tumor. It's about persistence, about listening to your body when no one else will, about fighting to be heard, even when everyone around you tells you nothing's wrong. He hopes his experience will remind others to trust their instincts, to ask the hard questions, to push for answers, because sometimes what seems like something simple might be something much more. And in Thomas's case, that persistence saved his life.